Dear everyone watching this video, especially at YouTube, this is for educational purposes only. So please do not get yourself twisted up in knots. Some people are really into the subject that we are about to discuss, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm making this video to let the people who are into this know that it is perfectly normal, perfectly safe, can be done in a totally consensual, healthy, satisfying way. Okay, so if you are easily offended or you don't like the idea of straight men having things in their butts, you've been warned. Go ahead and click away now. All right, everybody who's still here with me, I'm going to educate you today on pegging and why it is so popular among heterosexual men and heterosexual couples. I'm Caitlin V, your sex and relationship coach, and pegging is one of the most common but least discussed activity that takes place in totally otherwise like normal cisgender heterosexual bedrooms. In this video today, I'm going to talk about why people enjoy pegging, what the heck pegging actually is, you may just be wondering that right now, and how to enjoy pegging safely if that is something that interests you. Let's get started just by addressing what pegging is. Pegging is a specific term for when a straight woman puts on a strap-on and gives penetrative sex to a straight man. Now, if you're asking, like, why don't we just call that anal sex? Or why don't we just call that strap-on anal sex? Or why does it have its own term? I think the reason that it actually has its own entire term and category is because it is so unique. It's not like normal, quote unquote, normal strap-on sex. It's like very, very specific to the relationship and to the genders between the two people who are enjoying this. Honestly, if I, as a woman, put on a strap-on and have insertive anal sex with that strap-on with another woman, it wouldn't be called pegging, and vice versa. Now, why do people enjoy pegging? Well, the reasons are numerous, but the physical reason that most men enjoy having anything inserted into their anus is because they have a prostate. And the prostate is a gland that is best and most easily reached through the anal canal, and when stimulated, it feels really, really good, at least for a lot of men. It happens to be about the length of a finger inside of the anus and towards the front of the body. It feels a little bit like a walnut, and if touched and stimulated properly, it can actually lead to different orgasms, and it actually is quite good for prostate health. So a lot of men like to have things put into their butt in order to stimulate their prostate. Butts are, in general, rich with nerve endings. They have a similar number of nerve endings as your lips. There's all that sensitivity there. Same is true for your anus, for the exterior part of your butt. Also, little known fact about why butt sex is so awesome. We actually have two sphincters, not just one. We think about it as like the anal sphincter, but there's actually two back to back. One is controlled by the nervous system that we can take a couple deep breaths and connect with and relax. But the other one is controlled by the autonomic nervous system, which means that we cannot just tell it to relax. The cool thing about these two nervous systems is that when you bring them into sync with one another, like by both of them being stimulated at the same time at the anus, you actually have a down-regulating effect on the overall person, and that can be a really soothing, really calming, actually very relaxing and pleasurable experience. And a relaxed nervous system is actually able to enjoy more pleasure, has more orgasmic potential than a nervous system that is aroused in the sense of being in fight or flight mode. So those are the physical reasons that someone may enjoy pegging, but there are some emotional and mental reasons that someone could enjoy pegging too. It changes the power differential in a couple. So usually in a heterosexual couple, the male is the insertive partner and the female person is the receptive partner. But in this case, the female person gets to be the insertive partner. She gets to play this role that is different than how they typically engage in sexual activity, and that is kind of cool. I found myself that when I have pegged or worn a strap-on, whether that was with a male person or a female person, that I actually ended up having a lot more empathy for men. And as a coach who specializes in men, I can understand on a way deeper level what it feels like to be the insertive partner. Man, it takes a lot of energy. I think most women really don't understand what y'all go through, and just the incredible amount of exertion that is hip thrusting, okay? It also feels kind of taboo, and for those of us who have the kinky blueprint, and you can watch my video on all of the erotic blueprints, but I believe that everyone is turned on a little bit by what is taboo to them, and taboo is very subjective. So what's taboo to me may not be taboo to you, but in almost all heterosexual relationships and heterosexual men, having something inside of your butt is a little taboo. Having it, in place of a phallus on a female person, also very taboo. Being a female person, having insertive sex with your male partner, all of it's kind of taboo. Our culture tends to shame it and look down on it. And a lot of straight men are very sensitive because they see receptive anal sex as associated with gay men. And because there is such a stigma and still so much homophobia inside of our culture, they want to be as distanced from that as possible. But pegging actually is sort of like a little bit of a loophole inside of that a lot of men really enjoy. So there's this cool power switch, this role switch. And for me personally, as a woman, I've had plenty of male partners desire that I be the receptive partner during anal sex, right? This is pretty common. It's very common in porn. Like anal has probably risen from a not so common activity for our grandparents to a super common activity. Anal's probably just like an expected part of sex and sexuality, I think, anymore. I think that's because of the proliferation of porn. As someone who's been expected to be on the receiving end of anal, it actually is really nice when your partner has also been on the receiving end of anal and they know what it actually feels like to receive anal sex, because what you think it feels like and what it actually feels like can be miles and miles away. So when a male person is willing to try being on the receiving end of anal sex, even if it is just because he wants to be on the giving end, it gives him an opportunity to know what it is like, and therefore when the roles are reversed and he's the giver, he knows how to go a little bit slower, what signs to look out for, and generally has more empathy for the person on the receiving end. So that is some of the reasons that people enjoy pegging. There's definitely more. Please write into the comments other reasons that I forgot or things that I didn't list as to why you or your partner enjoy pegging itself. But let's get into how to successfully enjoy pegging. Now, I have multiple videos related to anal sex, so go ahead and check those out, because anal is anal is anal. A butt is a butt is a butt. They're the great democratizers of our sexual experience, and that advice works no matter what is being put in whose butt. But if you would like to try a strap-on, I highly recommend that, but you actually don't need one. You can actually just use a sex toy in your partner's anus. You can hold it in your hand. So step one is to select your sex toy. The first time that I ever pegged an ex-boyfriend of mine, I showed him all of my sex toys. I was like, here's the plethora of things that we could put into your anus today. And he picked like the largest one. And I was like, I personally don't believe that you're gonna be able to take that, but I love the enthusiasm, A for effort. And you know who was totally wrong? This girl. Completely wrong. Not only did he take it, he was like, I think I could do a bigger one. So you may have an idea that you want to start really slow, and that's awesome. And your partner may know that he's able to go for it right away. If so, that's great too. Whatever feels best for the two of you. To make cleanup an absolute breeze, grab a condom and put that over the dildo or over the phallus, over the thing that is going to go into his butt. When you select the toy that is going to be inserted, make sure that it has a base, also known as a phalange. The anus is like a one-way street. You have to have something that secures your toy on the outside so as not to lose that toy on the inside and end up having to go to the emergency room. So not all dildos and phallic-shaped toys are designed for anal play. Make sure that you look it up, maybe on the toy manufacturer's website, or ask the seller of that toy, is this safe for anal play? Make sure that it has a base so it won't get lost. After you've selected the right toy, put the condom on it, go ahead and throw some lube on it as well. And then I recommend that before you try to create insertion with the toy, that you actually warm up and sort of say hello to the anus first, maybe with your fingers, if you're comfortable, maybe even with your mouth. Again, check my other videos on how to introduce yourself to an anus so that you can gain entry without causing any sort of tension, squeezing, tightness, or even worst case scenario, actual physical damage because you went too fast and overrode the nervous system and ability to relax. Like I said, there's two sphincters, so you actually need to give them both time. So sometimes it can be helpful for the person who's giving to just hold still and allow the receptive partner to actually back up or move themselves onto the toy instead of having the insertive partner push in. Take as much time as you need. You do not have to go straight for thrusting. You can just get to a point where the toy is inserted and then stop. But maybe that's all you do the first time. Maybe the next time you go for thrusting. Maybe right away they're able to receive thrusting and that's what they like. There's nothing wrong here. Just go with the pace that both of you are ready and comfortable with. The emphasis goes onto the receiving partner's comfort once you're actually inside of the penetrative act. At the end, I highly recommend that the two of you engage in some aftercare, that you take care of each other, that you have maybe like a cuddle. And I always recommend something that I learned from my mentor Jaya is ask each other what was awesome about that. Go back and forth saying what was awesome about that was the way that you moaned right as soon as I hit your prostate. What was awesome about that was how I could really feel your connection to me, how you took your time and treated me really sweetly. What was awesome about that is how you ran your fingernails up and down my back while we did that. That felt really good and made me feel really safe. So it's really nice to sort of cap, especially if you do have some shame or if you do feel a little bit uncertain about being the receptive partner. It can be really nice to end that experience by talking about what really worked. That can help solidify all of the good things about that experience and can help you to overcome any shame or discomfort that you have around your own pleasure, which I'm here to tell you. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, take a second to subscribe. This is what this channel is all about, making sure that you can have the best sexual experience of your life and giving you all of the education that you need to try any sort of thing between two consenting adults that feels good for both of them. And if that is pegging for you, then I want you to try pegging, and please, please follow the instructions. Make sure that you do it to the degree that both parties are comfortable with, and have fun, and know that there is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. I'm Caitlin B. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please enjoy. I'll see you here next week.